Welcome back, everyone. November 7th, North Charleston voters will get to decide who they want to lead the city in the post-Summey era. Longtime Mayor Keith Summey announced that he will not be seeking another term, guaranteeing that for the first time in 29 years, someone not named Summey will be running City Hall. One of those seeking the seat is Dr. Merriweather Jr., and he joins us this afternoon. Welcome, and thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Now, in an effort to be fully transparent, I'd like to let everybody know that I've not met you before today, but I do know his family. Your uncle was one of my best friends growing up. He's from North Augusta, South Carolina. I grew up in Augusta, and so I know your family. So with that being said, who are you, and why should the people out there vote for you?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, first of all, you talked about our roots. I am the son of a pastor. And, I think the thing that uniquely qualifies me, quite frankly, Raphael, is the fact that I bring not only experience, but also academic education. So I'm going to be able to combine those two to solve the most unique problems facing North Charleston.
All right. There are 10 candidates right now currently running for this position. Some have more name recognition than you do. You would agree with that?
I agree with that.
Okay. So which candidate do you think offers you the biggest competition in this race?
Well, I think it goes without saying that former Chief Burgess has the most name recognition. And that goes without saying. And I honor the service that he's done for our illustrious city. However, I believe I bring something quite unique. So I cannot in any way discount the great service he's done as police chief for North Charleston. But the challenges that North Charleston face, number one, is crime. There's some things that need to be done to make sure we properly combat crime in this region. I think that's one of the biggest concerns on the hearts and minds of voters, but that's not the only problem. And so the other problems, I believe I bring unique solutions that, quite frankly, I have not heard elsewhere. I believe I bring actionable solutions to solve the most pressing needs of North Charleston. Number one, including economic development. 2, of course, is crime. 3 is education. 4 is affordable housing. And 5 is food insecurity. So I believe I offer a holistic and comprehensive approach to address the most pressing challenges facing our city and our region.
All right. Well, let's take that line of questioning a little bit further.
Okay.
We go into the future, and let's say you win this mayor's race. A year from now, what are you saying to those things you mentioned that you have accomplished, and how have you accomplished those things?
Okay, awesome. Well, the first thing we have to do, day one, is we have to address crime. Now, crime doesn't just mean putting more officers on the force, because the way that the current legislative environment is structured, if I put more, let's say we had budget aside, so we put 100 new officers on the ground today. That does not combat our problem, because the laws are in such a way where we have a lot of reoffending. We have people being locked up today and back out on the streets tomorrow. So I'm committing to, as mayor, to work with both sides of our General Assembly to first affect the laws that allowing folks who commit crimes to reoffend and get back out. That's the first order of business, is to start working with our lawmakers to address the legality. Number 2, once that's in place, then we can increase law enforcement. We know back in 2020, back during the pandemic, that we lost a lot of our first responders for political reasons. Regardless of whether you feel, however you feel on that issue, we have a gap in force. So we have to address the gap in force, but only after we address the legislative issues. Now, the reason why crime is important, because it affects the rest of my plan. So once we address the crime issue, we now have to deal with the economic development. We want to make sure we can attract other businesses. We need more jobs for the citizens of North Charleston. So the way we're going to do that is by, number one, going out and actively campaigning and recruiting additional business investment in our city. That's going to look like bringing other employers alongside the Boeing and Mercedes to our region. The second part of that is our entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the lifeblood of any economy, so we have to create an environment, an ecosystem where our entrepreneurs can thrive. That means having access to capital. I have some free market solutions for how to do this, but I want to see incubators, accelerators, venture capital, and private equity. Business owners they do well in the day-to-day, but we know that true wealth is generated on the exit of the business. Second, education. One of the issues that Bowen told us was, hey, South Carolina, we came here, but the education environment is not where it should be. So what we saw a lot of transplants come into our area to take those jobs because we have an educational problem. So we have to address the educational climate in our region so when we attract these jobs, we can in fact create an environment where the entrepreneur thrives, or the entrepreneurial base thrives, as well as the individual. So we have to position education.
And I'm sure you can go for another 30 minutes, but unfortunately we're out of time.
Okay.
Dr. Curtis Merriweather Jr., thank you so much for being here with us and for joining us for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, sir.